requests were coming in my mind. And even at the yatra, I think many of you all were not knowing, but then so many girls met and said, "Mother, when are you coming?" You also one of them, "When are you coming? When are you coming?" I'm like, "Oh really? I think I should go now." So that's the only reason. And today morning when I was with my family is like, "Do you really have to go? I mean, 364 days you're with your temple. Can you not spend one day for us? Can you not cancel this event?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm remembering all those 60 girls' requests. How can I say no to them?" So life is always a choice, right? I mean, I'm happy with whatever choice you make. Right? You're somehow not completely satisfied. So anyways, it's a great pleasure for me to be here, all of you, and to see all the happy faces. I'm least prepared, but I was like, लड़कियों को देखकर सब कुछ अपने आप आ जाएगा. These girls are girls. They fill the ambience with the energy. So I'm sure you all are very, very kind, beautiful, loving girls. I understand your mothers may have a different impression about you. That's another thing. But then, yeah, the potential is there, so we're going to tap that potential today. Okay, so before we begin, what's the understanding of your topic that you have got, which is groom to groom? What did you think when you read the topic? कुछ सोचा ही नहीं, वैसे ही जाके बैठना है. हमें थोड़ी सोचना है, आपको अपना ब्रेन टैक्स करना है. हमको तो सिर्फ हमारे कान वो भी खुले रहे तो रहे, भगवान ने दरवाजा दिया नहीं है तो कुछ तो जाएगा अंदर. So let's scratch your brains, let's tax together. Okay, so what do you understand when we hear the topic groom to groom? Groom. आज मैंने सुना बहुत ज़्यादा शादी का सीजन है, बहुत ज़्यादा शादियाँ हैं आज, right? Life is supposed to be like elaborate, stretched and खींचने वाली. तो ये मेकअप में लड़की को टाइम लगता है, तैयार होने में लड़की को टाइम लगता है, उसका गाना गाने में टाइम लगता है. Then why are the men called bridegroom? Did you always, I mean, did you any time wonder about it? At least I wondered about it. I mean, except for bridal makeup, nothing perfectly matches the groom. You know, bridegroom makeup, they look too much. So I used to always wonder, what is this bridegroom? So when I came to this topic of groom to groom, I kind of reflected on this and I did a little bit of research on the ChatGPT nowadays. And it says, groom means to nurture, to take care. Like we always say, groom yourself. You know, groom yourself in the sense, you carry yourself well, you nourish yourself, you enhance your looks, you enhance your hair. Groom your hair means जब आपके बाल सुबह उठने के बाद कैसे होते हैं, या रात को सोने के समय में कैसे होते हैं. And when you go out, you groom yourself, right? You make yourself presentable basically. You make yourself decent enough. So groom means to take care, to nurture, to nourish. And that's why the pride of a bride lies in the bridegroom, who's meant to take care of the bride. Bride, groom. One who grooms the bride is called. That means one who takes care, who's meant to take care of the bride is called bridegroom. If you understand it literally, right? And why is it called taking care of the bride? Why don't we take care of the men? Of course, women also take care of the men. But this reminds me of very beautiful, I think I must have quoted in the camp also, that Mataji, who keeps coming to Hyderabad, all of you know her, right? So we had learned a story from her. It's either about herself or maybe some other couple. So his Guru is Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who's Mataji's Diksha Guru, and he got them married, and after 6 months, because Vishaka Mataji is like, you know, very extrovert, outgoing. So you must have understood by now. And we all started our camps. I got married in 2005, and I had never been to a girls' camp before my marriage. My first girls' camp was after my marriage. So Vishaka Mataji said, "You're officially not allowed because you're no more a girl now." But then she said, "If you have to come as a teacher. That's when you're allowed." So I started my girls' camp as a teacher without being a part of that, so-called girls' forum. So that was, I think, in 2006. So it's been like 18, 19 years that we are together for the girls' camp at Vishaka Mataji. So we keep hearing this chutkulas from her. So she was talking about herself. So Maharaj got her married, and after it was a period of 6 months, and based on her nature, Maharaj asked once when he was taking down to the Gopinath temple Chowpatty, and he spotted Dwarkadish over Vishakha, and he asked Dwarkadish, "So Dwarkadish, have you tamed the Vishakha?" And Vishakha was like, "Am I? And he was actually tamed? Excuse me." We can't say anything to spiritual master, right? So, I mean, of course, she loved to be called that way by her guru. But then that was her first reaction. You have an animal, I said, कुछ tame करने के लिए, you tame animals, not humans. And that would, devotee life. So, Mataji's head was a little down, and then, Dwarkadish said, "Maharaj, she's much better than what she was before." So Maharaj was very happy, and then he said this, that Vishakha is like the diamond, which can perfectly fit into the ring of Dwarkadish. Now this doesn't apply only to both of them. Of course, Maharaj said straight to both of them, first hand to both of them. But just like Srila Prabhupada has shared so many of his instructions, his advices, his nurtured his disciples so much that through them we can take what lessons are meant for us with it, right? So similarly, when Maharaj said Vishakha is the diamond which perfectly fits into the ring of Dwarkadish, what it means is women are those brides which are perfectly groomed by the, right? So women are like those diamonds. And what do you do with the diamond? Do you play with it like this boy is playing with a balloon? I mean, you have to hold it as if जैसे हाथ में चिंगारी है ना वैसे पकड़ के कहीं कुछ गिरे नहीं. Because they are so small, right? Too tiny to be mishandled, to be careless about. So when something is very, very precious, it is harnessed more and more and more. जो जितना ज़्यादा कीमती होता है, उसको उतना ही ज़्यादा संभाल कर रखते हैं. तो हम लड़कियाँ इतनी कीमती हैं कि हमारा घर भी ब्राइड ग्रूम कहलाता है. Right? So sometimes if we just get to know what these words actually mean, we'll be so proud of all ourselves. I mean, positively. We're not arrogant, but then we'll feel the worth of ourselves. Like many times, sometimes in our culture, I won't say culture, but in the perverted reflection of our culture, it happens that women are generally neglected, or they are abused, exploited, underestimated, right? Undermined, potential is not happening, you're just limited to home, etc. But then, if you really understand what's our potential, will you like is this not enough to know you're like that diamond who will fit into someone's ring perfectly? Is this not enough to know and you feel so good about yourself, right? And when you feel good about yourself, you are boosted to perform better. You agree? And that's why I said in the world outside, the corporate world, carry yourself better. Whenever you are demotivated, just look better. I mean, that's very, very external. It's too much on the external surface, but that itself will give you a great boost. What happens when you are looking pretty, or not pretty, I would say, workplace, you should look decent, you should look classy, right? So what happens when you carry yourself well? Confidence, very good. What else? Others respect us. Thank you so much. It's the world that we live in. We can't deny all these things. Anything else from behind?
Compliments.
Compliments. And who doesn't like compliments? All the more the girls. Right? Like I just walked off the cab. I lighted from the cab and I looked at Mataji and Navya Mataji and Srilata Mataji and Marata Mataji is coming straight from the marriage. I'm like, oh, look, so pretty. So it's very natural, right? So when someone tells you you're looking pretty, you all the more settle yourself. Right? I mean, you want to ensure that the compliment is right. Right? So do you feel good about it? I mean, you get those positive vibes. Right? And definitely we are not hunters of compliment. We are not compliment hunters. All I'm saying is it boosts a little confidence enough to perform better. Right? So that's what a girl is meant to be. So the girls are meant to be groomed in such a way that they can outgrow in life to perform better and better. Now, this entire topic of groom to grow is, as you must have seen seen in the poster as well that it's about your pre-marriage and post-marriage. Now all of you are pre-marriage stage, right? Some of you exceptions, post-marriage. होने भी चाहिए कुछ exceptions, वरना आपको लगेगा पता नहीं शादी के बाद कौन सी दुनिया होती है. नॉर्मली दुनिया होती है. आपके बीच में कुछ लोग बैठे हैं वो आपके जैसे ही हैं. Right? So it's very, very normal. So we don't have misconceived pre-notions about marriage. So this grooming, as I said, is an important aspect and it's necessary because we are to be protected. We are so-called diamonds. It's somebody fitting into somebody's ring. Girls are already blushing now. कौन होगा किसके रिंग में? जब आप पहली बार किसी अपने लाइफ पार्टनर से मिलोगे तो ढूंढना उसके रिंग में जगह है क्या? Right? But yes. Just being the diamond is not enough. What is the function of a diamond? It shines. What else does it do? It's strong. Yes, thank you very much. It gets through the toughest tests. Right? What else? It shines. It's the toughest. Or kya? Precious. It's very, very precious. Thank you. Yes.
It's also very pure.
Very pure. Yeah, pure diamond, right? Yeah, so here she is, the right example. It's very, very pure. What else? It passes the light. So when you are the diamond, you imagine how much you need to groom yourself. And when you groom yourself, this is what happens to you. You shine, you're being pure, you pass the light into others' life, you become very, very precious. I didn't give any of the answers, you gave all the answers. Right? So when you groom yourself properly in your life, this is what happens to your life. Right? So we have pre-marriage, which is meant to be groomed, and post-marriage, which is meant to be grown. Right? So we groom ourselves in order to grow in the later parts of life. Right? So grooming as such, that means to take care of yourself, it's at different levels. Now, the very existence of our life is on 5 statures or 5 status, which is physical level. What else? I think you got the name. Emotional, next. Mental, next. Intellectual and spiritual. Right? These 5 levels of grooming we are all aware of. So when you have to groom yourself, you can't neglect one at the cost of the other. Physical grooming is done by our parents. You can't deny that fact. You may not get along with them in your teens. You may just want to rebel every single word that they are saying in your life. And you just want to run away from them. But the foundation is being laid by our parents. Right? So that's the first part, which is the physical grooming. What's the mental grooming?
Schooling and education.
Okay. Meditation. What else? Belief system. I mean, that's very close to what I'm hinting at. Right? Physical grooming is like खाना, पीना, कपड़ा, जैसे छोटे बच्चे को माँ बाप को बोलना नहीं पड़ता, पापा खाना दे दो, मामा कपड़ा दे दो. It's just provided, right? And what's mental grooming? The thought process, the belief system that you cultivate. And when do you develop that system? As a child or as a teenager? As a teenager, you are making the foundation of your belief system. So it's a very, very crucial turning point in your life, the teenagers. If any of you have had challenges in kind of reforming yourself, just reflect about your childhood and teenage life. If you have had any difficulties, if you have had any negative impressions or too many overboard impressions on your consciousness, then your ability to set the belief system right is very weak. You are not resilient enough. You are very vulnerable. You get carried away. You become frustrated, irritated, tempted. You all can relate with all these words. होता है ना हमारे साथ short-tempered, too quick to judge, right? No patience. ये सब कब होता है जब हमारा childhood या teenage में कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ है, right? So that's our mental stature. Next is about the intellectual. Mental में क्या होता है? You just want to get carried away. Anything that buzzes around, anything that's in trend has to be yours. Whether it's the straightening of the hairs, or whether it's the dress which is trending, or is the boyfriend trend, or friends ka trend. Kuch bhi ho. Temple is also a trend. Like we all join temple because it is a trend. We are so fortunate and blessed that we joined a good trend. That we are still surviving today. We joined a fortunate trend. Because believe me, when we would go, like we joined, when we were like 16, 17. I was introduced when I was a small child, but then I took it up voluntarily when I was a young old, college-going girl. So when we took up the Krishna consciousness, I remember we would go to the temple only for two things: prasad and dance. How many of you have come for that? Right? So it's all common for the girls. See, I'm not I'm just one amongst you all. But what I'm trying to say is, if you persist, if you groom yourself enough, and if you allow yourself to grow with the situations of life, 25 years down the line, you'll be sitting here. How many want to sit here? I don't mean that you'll come and give a class. What I mean is, you will still survive the process. Right? You'll still be there hanging around. हम तितली की तरह उड़ना नहीं चाहते ना, ये इससे फिर वो उससे ऑलरेडी बहुत दुनिया में बहुनाम जन्मनाम आते ज्ञानवान प्रबंध वासुदेवम सर्वमिति सब इतना उड़ के तो कैसे क्या करेंगे? वो खेल और गेम होता ना, तितली उड़, कौवा उड़, हम तो बिल्ली उड़ बोला तो भी उड़ जाते हैं. That is the tendency of a jiva, to get distracted. We have already had enough hoppings from one life to another life. After settling at Krishna's lotus feet, we cannot afford to go back now. Right? Already wasted enough. Now we don't want to. But then in order to survive those 25, 30, 50 years, maybe 50 lifetimes, we need to groom ourselves well. Right? So physical grooming is all about the food, the clothing, the basic, roti, kapda, makan. Right? I definitely want to quote this whenever I've been quoting this phrase. I've been insisting on this because I hope it gets registered in our consciousness. With the current political scenario all over the world, and especially countries like Bangladesh and around us, it's so important that we are taking out that exclusive time for our Sanatana Dharma, which is part of Krishna consciousness. I had read on someone's status very profound, deep, and alarming thought. He said, whenever you go and preach, like the Scriptural month is coming up, and whenever you go and say, please buy this book, what's the first answer people give?
They already
Why should I? I already have it. Anything else?
What's good about it already?
Hair?
What's good about it?
What's good about it? What's the need to buy? Time नहीं. बुढ़ापे में पड़ेंगे. Right? So many reasons, all reasons. Right? I'll focus on this time नहीं है. So this person's status said, अगर रोटी कपड़ा मकान को अर्जित करते करते आपके पास सनातन धर्म के लिए टाइम नहीं है, तो याद रखना, एक दिन यही रोटी आपसे छीन ली जाएगी, आपके कपड़े उतार लिए जाएंगे और आपके मकान जला दिए जाएंगे. This was put up on someone's status when last time Bangladesh riots had happened, जो recent हुआ था. Right? So if we don't take out that time to protect our culture and heritage, be rest assured, all that you are protecting today, all that you are preserving today is going to be lost. So we need to take that time out, whether you feel it or not. Because हमने देखा था, रोटी छीन ली गई थी. There was no food, no lights, and people were actually brought to the center of the town and the city, and their clothes were stripped away. Actually, was in 2024, right? And then मकान जला दिए गए थे, temples जला दिए गए थे. You saw all of it, right? So it's very important to remain awake, to remain alert to the scenario around us. So that the mental nurturing, the physical nurturing is roti kapda makan, as I said. Mental is the belief system. What's the next? Intellectual. So in teenagers, you're just getting driven away. But by intellectual, when you grow a little more further, you start thinking about it. That means you really ponder the choices that I made back then. Were they really true? How many of you regretted some of your decisions in the teens? So much of a privilege, right? Thank you for being so honest, but that's life. That what do? You are so much caught up in the so-called allurements of Ready? Oh, we have a wedding season here too. Right? Oh, Hari Krishna. We were just talking about the bride and the bridegroom. And Krishna sent us a live example of the bride and the bridegroom.
Doesn't look like even mataji look. Mataji doesn't look so surprised. Where to record this? This is called live relay. Krishna is personally present in our talks. How many folks stand like this? No time soon.
One day it all happens. याद रखना हम डायमंड है जो बिना किसी रिंग में फिट नहीं हुए तो बिखर जाएंगे. किसी के रिंग में फिट होना जरूरी है ताकि संभले रहे. Right? So that's physical, mental, intellectual is when you make your belief system strong, you start discriminating, and then you have your emotional quotient, emotional stature, right? Emotional grooming. How does emotional grooming happen? Support system, very good. Emotional grooming happens by the right relationships that you choose, right? Because you can, just remember one thing, you cannot avoid situations in your life. All you have to do is become better to deal with them. Make yourself better to deal with them. So emotional grooming is all about relationships and situations, how you respond to it. And all these 5 groomings are necessary. This is like nurturing your very core, your existence. You know, it's like in the entire course of the day, what all that you do, I mean, how your day starts. We are too spiritual. Before Mangalarati, what happens? Brush your teeth. Thank you. That's the most practical thing that you can do. You take care of your body, right? And then what do? You sit and chant. You take care of your soul. Then what do? All day can you sit and chant 64? Then what do? Filling our belly, go to work, go to college, right? And then, uske baad khatam, day is ended. Then you also want to hang out with friends. That's also important part of life. And now stress buster. Kahan jayenge? Friends are like stress buster, right? So that's also part of our existence. So throughout the, and then at night you take rest. So just like throughout the day, you enter into different portions of your existence. Similarly, grooming has to happen at all 5 levels. Physical, which is taken care by parents. Mental, which is taken care by friends, right? And at a later point of time, maybe teachers also, right? Third, intellectual grooming happens by scriptures. When you read scriptures, when you come in the Sangha, the wise, right? The wisdom. I would like to say a story here. There were 3 alvars in Tamil Nadu who are called Mudal alvars. If you all know, Ramana Sampradaya has this concept of, like we have concept of Goswamis. So they have these alvars. So there are 3 alvars, Poigai, Pei and Bhuta. 3 alvars. And all the 3 have been born came in the different parts of Tamil Nadu. And they all decided to come to take darshan of Kanchipuram Varadraj. So all of them started from their journey from their local places, and they reached the outskirts of Kanchipuram, and it happened to be raining very heavily that night. So they all thought, let us take some shelter somewhere in the forest. So the first Alvar, Koigal Alvar, he came to a small hermitage where there was nobody around. It was a dark cottage, no lights, nothing, and the space inside was just enough for one person to sleep. You all assuming, already this story. Some of you are already nodding your heads. Good, that means you're wise. You're well, abreast with the things of the scriptures. So he went inside and he thought that's just enough place to lie down to sleep. So let me spend my night here. Tomorrow morning I'll go and take darshan of Kanchipur Varadraj. So he lies down, and just by then comes the knock on the door, which is the second Alvar, who was Bhutat. And he knocked the door and he said, "Is someone in?" And then he said, "Yes, what do you want?" And this Bhutan Alvar says, "It's raining too heavily outside. Can I come inside?" And then the first Alvar says, "Oh, there is not enough place. There's just enough place for one person to lie down, to sleep." And back comes the reply from Bhutan, "Where one can sleep, two can sit." When Poiga hears this, he said, "Wow, that seems to be an intelligent man." But now, I sometimes really try to imagine these weird things. If I was in this place, what would be my answer? Suppose if you get to hear some local train, Bombay local trains are every day Poiga paying the experience for us. Nobody wants to give us space. And even the reservation trains that you come, we just want to be so elaborately sitting on a place, stretched out completely. So he was so shocked that, he said, "Oh, where one can sit, two can, so when one can lie down, two can easily sit." So he says, there seems to be a wise person. He opens the door, the second person comes inside and sit. And then comes the third knock from the Payara. And then he also asks the same question. It's raining heavily outside, is there somebody in? And then unanimously the reply comes, "There is not enough place here." So, it's just enough place for two to sit. And back comes the reply, "Where two can sit, three can stand." Wow, wow, wow. आप लोग उस ज़माने से आए हैं लगता है. So then they both understand, oh, he seems to be the same category. It takes one to know one. So all three of them come together and they are all standing. And in those days, believe me, it doesn't take much of masala to impress each other. आजकल जो मसाला होता है ना, इम्प्रेस करने के लिए, क्योंकि आप कोर कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस बोलोगे तो बहुत जल्दी हमारे जो शोल्डर्स हैं वो दुखने लगते हो, भारी हो जाते हैं. शोल्डर्स क्यों भारी होते हैं?
सर भारी हो जाता है. सर भारी हो जाता है.
सर भारी हो जाता है. That's a nice answer. But there is a scriptural answer to this also. There's a folk tale which says when Kumbhakarna was killed, his wife Nidra Devi, she asked, "Where do I go for shelter?" And Lord Ram said, "You go to those shoulders who have no interest in Krishna Katha, who have no interest in spiritual life, and you sit on their shoulders." And that's why in the Katha, when Nidra Devi is coming and sitting, when our karmas are coming and sitting on our shoulders, what happens? Dire dire? It's a scientifically mechanical process. ऐसे ही होता है वो नीचे, right? So that's how we just go down. So these three people, when they were standing, they were so filled with Krishna consciousness inside that their existence was enough to inspire each other. They didn't have to speak a single word. And suddenly, amongst the three, they felt a little tightness. They felt as if somebody else is around, but they weren't able to see who's that person. And they felt this divine feeling, divine vibrations coming within them, as if their hearts, without speaking a single word, were, exchanging the thoughts amongst themselves. Because all three of them were relishing Krishna Katha inside. Now this is too difficult to imagine, right? Too difficult. But for example, I'll tell you, 6 of you are sitting together and having prasad. आप ऐसे सर्कल में बैठ के प्रसाद दे रहे हैं और पूरी शांति है. and suppose one girl starts smiling, then what happens? Isn't it contagious? The second person smiles. कुछ नहीं तो ये सोच के हंसेंगे पागल हो गए. Right? तो जब हम एक दूसरे को देखकर हंसने लगते हैं, तो सोचो हम कितना वाइब्रेशन बदल जाता है. Similarly, these are the pure souls who are not dependent on the gross form of sound vibration to inspire each other. They were Machita Bhagavata Prana Bodhayanta Paraspara Kathayantas Chamam Nityam Cha Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Without speaking a single word, their hearts were jubilant with Krishna Katha, Krishna consciousness, spirituality, spiritual consciousness, that it was oozing out to inspire each other. And what does Krishna say? Yatra gayanti madhubhakta tatra tishtami narada. Namam tishte vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu. I don't stay in Vaikuntha, nor do I stay in the hearts of the yogis. Where do I stay? Where my devotees are singing my glories. So these three people, while they were physically standing and trying to make sense, who's this person who is making us so, bumpy to each other? It was none other than Lord Vishnu himself. Varadaraj Kanchi Varadaraj had come amongst them to feel the presence of the three great devotees. He himself had come and we all offered those prayers. It's a very beautiful prayer which is called Pastorals there. So I'll not get into those details. But why I share this? Our intellectual portion develops by scriptures, the wise people, the saintly people. So that's how we groom our intellectual quotient. And then the emotional quotient, as I said, it's about relationships and situations. And the last, which is the foundation of everything, is the spiritual. If you take care of spiritual grooming, all the other four are taken care. Sometimes there are lacunas, there are deficiencies, there is some shortcoming in all the four. For example, everybody does not have a great parentage. Can everybody sitting here say, I have had great parents of the entire world? Some of you may be fortunate, but some may not. Right? So there is some shortcoming somehow or the other. At the parental level, at the physical level, and some of you may not have the good height. Some of you may not have the good complexion. Some of you may not have the good long hairs. The ability to speak, the ability to talk. So all these are the deficiencies that we carry, the shortcomings that we carry. So sometimes you have physical lacunas, sometimes you have mental lacunas. You're not good at grasping things. कुछ लोग होता है ना इशारा ही काफी है और कुछ लोगों को जाके करो भी. And there's a story of Tenali Rama, who is from Vijayanagara, right? Yes. So Tenali Rama, he had his contemporary, who was this Tathacharya, right? So this Tathacharya once wanted to embarrass himself and humiliate Tenali, and he said, "You have to rub my shoes. You have to clean my shoes and give for coming late to the assembly, for the king's assembly." So he says, "Oh, is that a punishment? How can I do this?" So he's very intelligent, very wise. Right? So what does he do? "Oh, really? Is that what I have to do? But I don't know how to do it. Can you show me how to do it?" And Tathacharya takes the first shoe and starts crying, "Oh, you don't know even that much? I'll show you how to do it." Then he takes his shoes and is cleaning, and he tells Rama, "You know how to do it?" He said, "Oh, I observed it, but it's not very thorough. Can you show me the other one also?" He takes the second one and cleans, and nice. Now you do it. And then he turns to the king and he said, "The punishment is done. It's already executed." Right? So that's intelligence. So sometimes, we may not be blessed with everything perfect in life, and spirituality makes up for it. Those who cannot speak well, those who have some spiritual, physical, mental, intellectual lacunas, it said, reading scriptures is like sharpening the sword of intelligence. Our mataji back in Pune, we have a great leader. We used to have, she's still there in the form of a legacy and a legend. Her name is Satyavati Mataji, who is the foundation of our ISKCON Pune congregation. She used to say this when I used to attend her classes of Bhagavad Gita. She says, "Shastra शरीर की रक्षा करता है और शास्त्र आत्मा की रक्षा करता है." Shastra is meant to defend the body, and Shastra is meant to defend the soul and the intelligence. So when you read scriptures, you develop those intellectual quotients are becoming better and better, they are enhancing. So spiritual life makes up for all the four. So this is how you groom yourself, and there's so many examples for this. You know, like we have Kunti Maharani, who was well versed with service to Durga's Muni, the boon she had received. What is the boon she had received? With the chanting of the mantras, she can invoke any demigod and ask for a child. Right? So that was the power of, imagine, यहाँ पे आजकल you know sometimes it's so difficult to conceive a child, and after conceiving you feel, why this child? I didn't forget it like yesterday when I started from Pune, and I thought I'm going for a wedding, and I'm like, oh, so much the parents will be spending on the wedding. So many saris and the jewelry, 80,000 gold, 1 lakh silver, but there's no substitute to gold and silver, diamond is beyond reach. No, but somehow मेहनत करके बेचारे माँ बाप ये सब लाते हैं, and then in 5-6 years the daughter-in-law says, I want a nuclear family, and the old age home is waiting for the parents. I mean, what is this cycle? You know, it's a normal cycle seems to be, you know, in day-to-day age. So even though we invest so much, but we may not get the results back. So grooming is very, very important so that we are equipping ourselves to face in situations better. So Satyavati Mata used to say, Shastra is for body and Shastra is for soul and the intelligence. So like this, if you groom yourself, you have equipped yourself to grow better. Because life before marriage is to take, receive, get. But life after marriage is give. And it right begins from Kanyadan. I would like to narrate a story of the second day of Navaratri, which is Brahmachari. Mother Durga has 9 forms during Navaratri. We meditate on each of them. We ideally recognize her as a sister of Lord Krishna, Subhadra Devi, Yogamaya, and then we kind of identify her. It's basically Navaratri, the 9 forms of meditation is nothing but the gradual organic phases of a woman. Taking birth, growing, adolescent, or performing brahmacharya life. 3rd is getting married, which is Chandraganda. 4th is Kushmanda, giving warmth to relationships. 4th is Skanda Mata, which is the mother of giving birth to the children, basically progeny contribute. And 5th is, I think, Katyayani is 6th. Yeah, Kushmanda. Okay, Shailaputri, Brahmacharini, Chandraganda, Kushmanda, Skanda Mata is 5th. And 6th is Katyayani, where children become naughty. And the same mother who used to have nice pamper paddy for you, and she used to have nice bottles and the dabbas running after you. Now she has a baler in the hand. Now she has a jhadu in the hand. Right? So that's Mother Katyayani. Little, disciplined mother kind of thing. Because teenage rebellion is very natural. Teenage is considered to be rebellious. So mother also kind of has to have discipline over the children. That's Katyayani. And then comes Kalaratri. जब बच्चे बिल्कुल नहीं सुनते हैं ना, तो the same mother becomes Durga. Kalaratri, Kali. So many things to share which come. I often share this with all the Madhavis also there. Never judge a lady who's angry. It's not her permanent rupa. Please. Because just imagine, like I told you ladies, back in the classes there. Imagine you are at home and your children are not listening to you, husband was not listening, and you are at Kalaratri rupa, हाथ में एक छड़ी है और एक नेक है, ऐसे आँख लाल है, मोहस चुम्मे हमारा ऐसा होता है तो लाल आंखें हैं, बाल बिखरी हुई है, and your friend knocks the door, the bell rings, and suppose you won't open. Will you dare to open first of all? Will you ensure you don't open the door? Right? Because you're so conscious about our image. I don't want anybody to see me like this. Because someone by chance goes and opens the door and they happen to see you in this way. And then you realize, बहुत गरम हवा चल रही है, better है मैं उल्टे पैर वापस भागूं. So you just run away. And next time you meet that mataji in the temple, and तुमको क्या याद आता है?
कालरात्रि.
Tell me honestly, क्या याद आता है? वही रूप याद आता है. रूप था तुम्हारा उस दिन. How embarrassing that lady would feel. In fact, I feel how humiliating, how insulting she would feel, you know, when you try to remind her of her lowest representation, of the most base representation of her nature. Right? So I always tell the mothers, don't judge a person just for a momentary expression of her emotions. Kala Ratri is not Kala Ratri all the time. And that's why even if you see organically in the Navaratri, Navadurga forms, the next form is Mahagauri. She comes back to that soothing golden complexion. So when your mother gets angry, please don't label her. Because I'm sure you also want to go through the same thing. And your mother is also not going to keep the form eternally like this. Right? It's just that it's there whenever she wants it, like Vidya Singh Madhuri came recently to Hyderabad. I always love to quote this example of hers. She says, anger or any kind of our, negative emotions should be like a toolbox. What is a toolbox? जब आपको कहीं खीला मारना है तो आप हथौड़ा निकालते हो, खीला लेते हो, दीवार पे मारते हो, राइट? और काम होने के बाद आप क्या करोगे? बॉक्स में रख दोगे. After nailing the nail there, do you take the hammer and keep going around in the house, chalo next corner, do you do that? So when you label a lady saying she's like Kala Ratri, it's like saying that you take hammer and go around to hit everyone. So Nitai Sevi says that anger should be used like a toolbox. Whenever you need it, you tell. मतलब उन्होंने तो इस हद तक बोला था, गुस्से को बोलना चाहिए, आओ. मैंने कहा that's too much, mataji. हमको जाओ बोलना पड़ता है. आओ is like, I mean, it's not even control कि आओ, थोड़ा गुस्सा दिखाना है. We can't process so much children, right? We don't have that strength yet. So she says it should be used like a toolbox like that. That's why it's even Lord Shiva and Rudra. You all have what? 9 forms of Rudra, 11 forms of Rudra? It's the same thing. Lord Shiva ideally is supposed to be very, very peacefully situated in his trance. Chanting what? Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manohame Sahasranama Tattulya Rama Rama Varadane. This is what is his original form. But when there's time for annihilation, what happens? All those energies to destroy come out. So that's how this Kala Ratri or this ladies who become angry, or we show negative emotions. It's just momentary. It's not meant to be permanent. So that's Navadurga as we talk about it. So that's how all these grooming that we do, it's more to give. And while giving, you will face obstacles. You will face challenges. So Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj says a very beautiful line that says, you make a living by what you get. आप जीवन में living means you are earning a livelihood, right? आप जो कमा रहे हैं, उससे आप क्या कर रहे हो? अपना जीवन व्याप्त कर रहे हो, जीवन व्यापित कर रहे हो. That's it. But you make a life by what you give. There's a difference between living and life. Living तो कोई भी जी लेता है, पंछी भी जीता है, पौधा भी जीता है, जानवर भी जीता है. But the beauty to life is when you start contributing, when you start making a difference in others' life. So I'll repeat this line. You make a living by what you get in terms of money, in terms of what you receive, the nurturing, the grooming part. But you make a life by what you give. So now you tell me, pre-marriage, what you received, what you got, what is it? It is just a living. Post-marriage, when you start giving, that's where life begins. Right? Because whatever you have received, all that is at stake now. Is it, at its testing period. So what happens when we groom ourselves, when we nurture ourselves at all these 5 stages, like Kunti Maharani did, she received that boon, and later on we see how difficult her life has been, but she was successfully able to, how do you define the success of a life? No challenges? Anybody blessed you without challenges? कोई ऊपर से आया है? Like my husband always says, तुम्हारा ही कर्मा है, बाजू वाले का थोड़ी है. लग जाए, you would not spare only God. Right? तुम्हारा ही है, बाजू वाले का नहीं है. I always remember zero when I get upset. मेरा ही किया था, बाजू वाले का थोड़ी. So every life has challenges. But what was the real success of Kunti Maharani or Draupadi? What was the speciality with these personalities? How is their life successful? They always prayed, they took shelter of Krishna. They were rooted in spirituality and their source of strength. What else? Why were their life successful? Little louder. They did not run away. Well, a very beautiful phrase somebody said. Life is not about deleting. Life is about dealing. You have to deal with the situations, not delete them. There's no delete button in life. But there's one button which is in your hands, which is what? Deal. Deal with it. Right? But to deal properly, we need to groom ourselves. Right? So that's how these great personalities' life is successful, not because they were not challenges, but because they learned how to deal with these challenges. And the crux, the essence of their success is, at the end of their lives, they still pray to Krishna. Vipada Santu Tashashvat. Krishna, you are our master. That is the real success of the life. Despite all the challenges, if you still go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm yours. Take away my precious Krishna. My life is your work of art. Colors, colors, Krishna's colors. Fill my life night and day. Up and down the strokes of love. Krishna's painting on the page. Did I sing this in the camp? No. There's this beautiful song which is penned by Gopi Mataji from Pune, who's the principal of our BMS school, and Radhika Mataji. And we had sung this in one of our girls' camp, in first or the second camp itself, back in 2006 and 7. And it was so heart-touching and such a peppy and beautiful, inspiring song that throughout the train journey, the entire compartment was vibrating with this song. And then next camp, Vishaka Mataji tells me, Yugal, Priya, translate it to Hindi. And I'm like, Mataji, that's too difficult. And when I sat with it, believe it was so beautiful. Should I sing it for you? Rang birange Krishna ki range, bhage jeevan mera dil holega, upar niche jeevan ki tarange, Krishna rahe hamesha mere saath, Krishna ki rang aur Krishna ki kalam, mere dil ke tore कागज पर है तुम्हारे कलम कृष्णा, मेरे जीवन के तुम कलाकार, colors, colors, Krishna's colors. Fill my life night and day, up and down the strokes of life. Krishna's painting on the way. So at the end of life, if you're able to say this, then you're going to be successful. अब हम कुंती महारानी की तरह विपदा संतुता शाश्वत गंगे बहुगम उदंवती नमो पंकज नामाय, हमको वो सब नहीं आता है, बट इतना आता है कि जो भी कृष्णा कर रहे हैं वो हमारे लिए अच्छा है. जो भी जीवन में मेरा कर्म मेरे प्लेट का है, जो मैं फेस कर रही हूँ उसमें कृष्णा मेरे साथ है. कृष्णा रंग बिरंगे ऊपर नीचे जीवन की तरंगे, कृष्णा रहे हमेशा मेरे साथ. Right? Krishna is always with me. That is my biggest fortune. So if you are able to sing this, that is the success of your life. Like Kunti did, like Draupadi did, like Devahuti did. Devahuti was the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, the in charge of the entire mankind. And she was groomed in palaces. But at the time came of her marriage, she was married to whom? Kardama Muni, who was living in a hermitage with all the matted hair and totally emaciated. अभी आप ब्राइड ग्रूम की सिमिलरिटी देखते हो? जब पहले प्रोफाइल आता है क्या देखते हो? गुणों से पहले क्या देखते हो? एटलीस्ट मैच तो मेरे से ज्यादा काला नहीं होना चाहिए, या मेरे से ज्यादा तिगड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए, मुझसे कम बाल नहीं होने चाहिए उसके, वरना बच्चों के बाल कैसे होंगे? Right? So we at least expect some compatible partner for us. But Devahuti was such a trained lady that she was handed over to a person living in an hermitage who was completely emaciated. Similarly, Charamuni and Sukanya, right? She was married to an old man. But all of these great personalities from the scriptures could pursue their life because of the grooming they did in the pre-married life. Right? And post-marriage is only to give. For a simple example, pre-marriage life is like a school. Post-marriage life is like an exam paper. I don't want to scare you all at all because अगर आप एग्जाम्स में पास नहीं होते तो आज यहाँ पर नहीं आते. आप यहाँ तक कॉलेज में नहीं होते और कॉलेज में कितनी मस्ती होती है. So there's lots more to enjoy that side too. There's lots more. Don't just get paranoid with the exam fear. Give the exams. Again, क्या होगा तो ज़्यादा fail ही तो होगे ना. Like I remember, I had tibial meningitis back in 2001. So I was in coma for about 48 hours, and I was told, I think in Bombay, yeah. So I was told by my doctors, that call everybody, she's gone. You can be rest assured, you can call all the relatives for the अंतिम संस्कार. ऐसे सब हो गया था. So I was like almost there at ending near-death experience. Somehow I came back to it all of your heads. So I came back and I was in my third year commerce, graduation that time, and it was important for me to decide whether because I had brain meningitis, so I had lost my capacity to eat, drink, walk, write, read, memorize everything. सब कुछ मतलब खत्म हो चुका था. So I was not sure if I could reappear for my exams of third year. So one of my mentors told me, Yugal, Priya, वैसे भी फेल होना है ना, एग्जाम देंगे फिर. टाइम वेस्ट क्यों करने का लाइफ में? एग्जाम देंगे फिर. So then I attended my exams and believe me, I scored 70%. And then I was there and in those days 70 was too much. आज आप लोग का जो क्या होता है वो PCM and वो ऐसा नहीं था. कॉमर्स बैकग्राउंड पूरा अलग होता है. 70 is like a big thing in those days. 80, 70 was like, and I was into this top college of Siddham in Bombay. जहाँ पे ऋतिक रोशन, जूही चावला, that category comes. So I was there and I remember one of my other seniors told me, life is like net preparation, not NEET, net exam. Net practice होता है ना, जब हम फुटबॉल वगैरह खेलते हैं. And death is the final examination. So some of these words kept ringing in my ears all throughout the challenges of my life. Right? So why I shared this, don't become scared with the exam. See, after all this exam, I'm still sitting here, making you all laugh, smiling myself. Right? So life is so beautiful even with the exams. I hope you got some taste for exams by now. Right? So that's post-marriage. So post-marriage is to actually leverage, withdraw. You deposit money in the bank and then you withdraw whenever you need it. Similarly, pre-marriage is you keep investing in your all these 5 stages of life, and then post-marriage you keep withdrawing. Right? And then you grow more and more as you pass through life. And then I'll end with a very beautiful analogy. So when you equip yourself, you are empowered to deal with the situations. You are equipping yourself with, as I said, some scriptures, saintly people, sangha, your teachers, parents, friends. You are equipping yourself. Emotional balance also. And then you are empowered to deal with the different situations of life. So if the family is the foundation of your life, the initial family life you have had, your parents, your siblings, all over, their family is the foundation of your life. Like for any building you see, there's a foundation. But can you see the foundation? Similarly, post-marriage, Whatever you respond to the situations, whatever ways you deal with your relationships, whatever big success and prosperity you may have in your professional life, academics, your other aspects of life, your motherhood, your womanhood, whatever success and prosperity you bring, there is a foundation to it. And who laid that foundation? The family. But that's unseen, just like this building. Right? So family is the foundation of the building, invisible but holding us. Right? इसीलिए कहते हैं many of the behavioral problems are because of your experiences in your childhood and teenagers, as we already discussed. Second, friends are the pillars that give shape to our life. Family is the foundation which is invisible. उनके आधार पर हमारा life चल रहा है. Right? Although they are invisible, but the impressions are very strong. That some of them you may have to enhance, some of them you may have to undo it. Favorable ones you enhance, and unfavorable ones you undo it. Right? By coming in touch with or in association with other people of your life. So friends are the pillars. एक बार foundation लग गया construction में, फिर pillar क्या करते हैं? एक shape देते हैं. You all agree जैसे ये इस pillar is a pillar, right? We call erecting the pillars. इससे क्या होता है? एक लाइफ को शेप मिलता है, एक हॉल को शेप मिलता है, right? That you get from your thought process, belief system that you have borrowed from your friends, your peers, and your influence in the teenage age, right? And teachers landscape your life. What is landscaping? जैसे suppose एक जमीन है ऐसे, but उसमें हम गेट कहाँ लगाएंगे? Architecture basically, right? किधर क्या होना चाहिए? So teachers by their wisdom landscape our life. What do you mean by landscaping our life? They teach you how much priority you need to give to your physical, emotional, mental, professional, academics and your intellectual existence. जो आपको सिखाते हैं every step. What do? They landscape your life. Because it's undebatable truth that what you invest in will what prosper. Whatever you invest in will prosper. Right? So your teachers teach. It could be spiritual teachers, material teachers, or anybody. Like I always nowadays I am remembering my material teachers so much. Any statistics students here or graph, geometry, graph? You all have read at least थोड़ा तो पढ़ा होगा, right? X axis, Y axis, इतना तो पता है, right? Zero. So nowadays, whenever I have to teach the ladies, or sometimes I have to understand it myself. Material self-gratification or any negative things is the y-axis. Getting rid of them is the zero at the intersection. Right? And the upper ka x-axis is the positive engagement of Krishna consciousness. So I was like, oh, I'm so grateful to my statistics teacher, जिसने भी ये सब सिखाया था. Geometry teacher, maths teacher, जिसने भी ये सब सिखाया उसका भला. Right? So we have all those teachers in our life. So with this I know I need to get out of my negativities, come to the neutral point and increase our positive aspects of life. So that's teachers shape our life, the landscape our life. Right? There was this this very beautiful story. There was a stone miner. There are the stone mines like Kadapa and all those marbles and granite. So there was this person who was working very hard, 8 to 9 hours in a day, cutting the stones with big machines, lot of tedious hard work, and he would hardly get paid for his, hard tedious job of hard work. And he would sell them to a sculptor. Sculptor पता है जो carve करता है. Right? So he saw the next day, whomsoever he had sold the big stones to, he went to the sculptor's shop and he saw that so many people were gathering around his shop and paying him big sum of money and making these small pieces of stone which was beautifully carved. So then this person was bewildered and he came up to the shopkeeper and he said, how come that I work with the same stones for 8-9 hours in a day and I give you big pieces, but I hardly get paid for it? And you make small pieces out of them and you sell them to the people in the market and you get a big lump sum of money. What is the strange science? And what does the shopkeeper say? You give me the crude stone. I get the beauty out of it. I sculpt it into a beautiful art piece. And people buy you or your product for the time invested in it. Not for the big 70 kg personality that you are. I hope you got it. Just being into existence is not enough. कोई मोटा व्यक्ति आता है फ्लाइट में, ट्रेन में, and you have to share a seat with that person. What's the first thought that crosses your mind? Oh my God, कितना कम जगह मिलेगा मुझे. And you ensure that you are also spreading enough and acting or pretending to, oh, you also have some mass on your body, right? Right? So that's our first thought, right? So people don't. So this is how such people are sometimes unwanted, despicable, right? So we are not. Our true value is not just the physical existence. What the sculptor is made for the beauty that he carves out of the stone. Right? When he removes by chiseling, he removes the unwanted part. Chiseling means what? In fact, किसी मूर्तिकार को किसी को पूछा भी गया था. Now, how come you made such a beautiful मूर्ति out of the stone? And what did the Shilpakar say? I didn't do anything. I just removed the unwanted part and the figure manifested itself. The image manifested itself. That's what our life is supposed to be. Remove the obese part of your body. Remove burn the unwanted calories to remain fit and fine. To get that, what is that waist size? 0? Yeah, well, I don't know. 0 or 26 or whatever you call it. Right? To get that, what do you have to do? You have to remove the extra fat. So there's a lot of fatness accumulated in our existence. What we have to do? We have to remove it, just like the sculptor removes the unwanted part. And then we become right? Like I just to off track a little bit. I went for the wedding today, and all my family was like, no, it's putting on weight and all. And then they all came up to me and said, how come you're reducing and all of us are putting on the weight? I said, see, that's the glory. When you're thin, you can fly. And when you're not, you have to just sit. And I don't like sitting. Because I just want to fly. It's just a joke, but what it means is when you're right, when you are fit, you are empowered to do better things. You are empowered to do efficient things. Right? So that's what life is, to remove the unwanted things. So that's what the teachers do. They landscape like that, stone miner, the difference between the stone miner and the sculptor. And all the prosperity that comes after so much of investment in you as a pre-married life, with the foundation of family, the pillars of friends, and the landscaping of teachers. By then you are ready for marriage. Right? Spiritual teachers and material teachers. Just like Mother Durga ke saath brahmachari ke baad chandra. Right? First you have to do some tapasya. So when you are ready for marriage, it's the beautiful house that you can make with the help of the foundation, with the help of the pillars, and with the help of the landscaping. What is landscaping? ऐसे नहीं कि चलो ये खाली जगह में काम करती हूँ, मैं यहाँ पे किचन लगाऊंगी, यहाँ पे बेडरूम लगाऊंगी, यहाँ पे बाथरूम लगाऊंगी, यहाँ पे गैलरी. ऐसे थोड़ी घर बनता है. घर कैसे बनता है? बहुत thoughtfully बनता है, right? So that's why you thoughtfully landscape your life, right? So all the prosperity, the beautiful house that you make is because of all these people in your life. And then चार दीवार बना दिया, घर बना दिया, काफी है? What makes what is the difference between a house and a home? The people, the beauty of the relationships, right? So when you groom yourself well on these 5 stages, what happens? You are able to groom relationships. From the bridegroom, now the grooming comes on your head. सिर्फ नाम bridegroom है. अगर वो bridegroom आपको संभाले तो आप बाकी सबको संभाल सकते हो. फिर आप क्या होना? तो in-laws groom, children groom, self groom, extended relatives groom. ये सब टाइटल है नहीं, बट वो है. वो bridegroom के पीछे ये सब है, पैकेज है ये सब. Right? Free में आता है ये सब. That's why Radha Priya Mataji, Mafatlal, she used to always tell all of us unmarried girls, Mafatlal fabrics, you all know. It's a big business back in Bombay there. So she used to always tell us, you know, marriage is not between two people. Marriage is between two families. You know, rest is a package. So we become grooms anyways. But first we need to groom ourselves and then become grooms for the others. You can go and review this to your parents today and say, oh, we never knew that we also are going to be groomed one day and grooming someone else at the other day. Right? So that's what life is. So beauty comes with family, beauty comes with relationships, and none of it is easy. You have to endure. Was it easy for Devahuti to serve Kandamamuni? Was it easy for Kunti to live a life along with Pandavas? What all they went through, being in the family? Not at all. In fact, Madhuri says, Kunti, it's difficult, it's easy to die rather than live in this day and age. You know, and especially with such a big responsibility of 5 children. You do one thing, you live, I will die. And she, you know, she boarded the fire along with her husband, Pandu, right? Because it's not easy to live a life. So life, relationship, situations is not easy to endure. And for all of it, you need to have, वो कहते हैं अगर आप कोई मैदान में उतर रहे हो पहले तैयारी तो होनी चाहिए ना, बिल्कुल है ही नहीं कुछ ऐसे करने के लिए. But the men may have that. Equality is not at. I was listening to one very big celebrity of our Indian, one of these things. I won't quote which one because from Vyasa I'm not supposed to. But she says, when we call men to the equality, it is not physical equality at all. Not that you go and beat up to a man, 200 pounds, and then get him sweat and fall off and die. We are talking about cerebral equality. When we get same opportunities as men to prove our efficiencies, to live a life of satisfaction, become a CEO, become a family man, be family woman, become a mother, become a teacher, raise children, enjoy your life. That's what the equality that we are looking at. Not that I become a strong WWF champion wrestler. We can't equate men and women like that. Right? So building up our muscles doesn't mean just putting up the mass on us. Just the muscles on us. What it means is, that's why I said women are more stronger than men. Right? We build up our not just physical but mental, emotional, intellectual and spiritual muscles stronger by grooming ourselves. And then we are ready to hit the Maidan. Right? The Maidan is not just your married life but also your professional life, your friends, your relationships, your challenges, your health and everything else that's part of life. And that's when your life becomes beautiful. And scripture, sadhana, sangha, seva, sadachar, these are the, what's aesthetics? So now we have the foundation of family, pillar of friends, teachers, landscape, and then the beautiful construction that we have is the people, the family which makes a home. And then you have something called aesthetics of the house. What is aesthetics? More appealing. What all comes into that? What all elements come into aesthetics? Let me see how many girls are aesthetics oriented. Then I can actually measure, तुम्हारा घर कैसे होगा. Interior decoration, very good. I think you got everything in one word. So what does it include? Decor हो गया. Decor में क्या आता है? Furniture. Okay, what kind of colors you choose? What kind of paintings you choose? What kind of carpets you choose? What kind of lamps, curtains, lights? कभी ध्यान दिया था सब रेडीमेड मिलता था. Right? But this is what makes house even more beautiful. Along with the people, appealing. Right? So when you start giving, when you start grooming others' lives, that's when your life becomes aesthetically beautiful. As I said, वो मोटा व्यक्ति आता है तो कोई किसी को नहीं चाहिए होता है. So when you start giving, contributing, and as S.B. Keshava Maharaj said, you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. So giving means giving oneself. But in order to give first, you need to have it yourself. आप खुद ही चिंती भिखारी हम.
और हम दूसरे को बोलेंगे ला चेक ला साइन करके देता हूँ, right? Only to bounce back, right? So first we need to have our bank deposits full. And what are those bank deposits? What are those investments? Physical, mental, intellectual, emotional and spiritual. Spiritually surcharged with sadhana, seva, sangha and all this you get to experience in this beautiful satsang which Srila Prabhupada has given us. By the causeless mercy of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our various spiritual masters, His energies and the beautiful mentors that you may have who somehow request you, sometimes push you for a good reason and somehow inspire you, encourage you, please come, please come, please come. Not because they don't have anyone to give. They have hundreds of people around whom they can tap. But then they are worried about you. Please come, make your life more and more beautiful. Don't just survive on अच्छा foundation डाल दिया, pillar खड़ा कर दिया, चार दीवारें बना दी, अब जीव. They want to make your life more beautiful by including an aesthetic aspect into it. And that's the books, the scriptures, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, some of the examples that we learned. Arjuna, from Mahabharata, classic example of how he was groomed. He was cursed by Urvashi in the heavens, and he went also into heavens because he was bound by Yudhishthira. They had a promise, right? Nobody will pass by them when one of the husbands is in seclusion with Draupadi. And Arjuna had to come and take up his bow and arrow to go and fight the battle. And he just barges inside without realizing Draupadi and Yudhishthira together. And Arjuna says, now I have to go. I have to go for Bhavishkar. I have to be condemned, ostracized. Yudhishthira says, no problem. I mean, it's fine, Rules are meant to be rules, but some exceptions could be there. Arjuna says, no, I have to go and perform a tapasya. So he goes and performs his tapasya, gets boons from Lord Shiva. Then he goes, during that exile, of self-exile, he goes to Swargaloka, learns all the arts from the demigods, Brihaspati and everyone. And then he meets Urvashi. And then Urvashi offers himself to her. सोचो, जिसके पीछे बड़े बड़ों के इधर छक्के छूट गए, जिसके छम was enough, to bewilder or to allure or to shake Vishwamitra Muni. Urvashi is offering herself to Arjuna, and Arjuna says, no mother, I am not interested. And she curses, you become a eunuch. That's the way he was groomed. And how it was helpful for him later on in the battlefield, just before the battlefield when they were in that Agyatwas, he used that opportunity of the curse to become a eunuch, to hide his identity. Right? So the same curse became a boon for him. So obstacles become opportunities. When you groom yourself well, then obstacles become opportunities to grow. Right? So that's what all these scriptures teaches us. Our sadhana, chanting, that empowers us to be receptive to all these things. Sangha, chaho ki nahi chaho. Just imagine you're standing with 10 people and 5 of them are dancing. Can the 6th one be left out? No way. Right? So Sangha is such a powerful force. Irrespective of your choice, you're pushed into it to grow and to be groomed. Right? And seva, by rendering service you get blessings by which you can get the strength to groom yourself well enough so that you can perform better in your exam. But don't get scared of exams. Exams are fun too. Why? Because after exams you get to go to college, where you can mass bunk, where you can enjoy, you get some freedom from your parents, and you can miss out, and you can chill out, and you can freak out. ये सब भी होता है ना, right? अगर छोटे ही बने रहे तो कैसे कॉलेज लाइफ में एंजॉय करेंगे? होता था ना जब छोटे थे तो सोचते थे हम कब, जब हम बहुत छोटे थे तो सोचते थे कि वो दीदी की तरह हम बैग पैक के कब जाएंगे? And as soon as we had that bag on our shoulders, we started thinking, my God, this is too heavy. When will I go like that, Didi, with just one book in one bag? We all felt like the grass is always greener on the other side. We always hoped that would be better. Right? So was that better? Yes or no? Yes and no. Initially it was like, no, बहुत बारी है. But later on you start enjoying it. So don't become scared of exams. Exams are part of life. Because when you clear one exam, there's lots more waiting for you to enjoy. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki, Jai. I hope I did not bore you. And even if I did, I'm sorry. I know how difficult it is to sit there and listen to all the blah 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 blah. But then I saw कि किसी के कंधे भारी नहीं, किसी के कर्मों का पंछी आकर. That's the reason they say, you know, when पंछी बैठा होता है घर पे या कपड़ों पे, that means what? They fly off, they show off. So clapping in kirtan keeps the karma words away from us. And that's what Prabhupada said, you know, when we clap in the kirtan, our lives change. दिखता तो नहीं है, but सामने बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. Reality में बहुत कुछ बदल रहा है. Right? So that's life. So that's why we have to participate in all these things. And I'm happy that none of your karma words are sitting on your shoulders. And you could hear it, and I really hope and pray that whatever little you heard, it has a practical, positive impact in your life. So that you look up, you look forward to celebrating life with all its ups and downs. Upar niche jeevan ke tarange, bhar rahe Krishna hamesha mere saath. What is the success? Sagar mein hamesha lehar. Just imagine, hypothetical. सागर में लहर हमेशा ऊपर होगी. So how would it go? I mean, till where it can move? It has to. So why do we expect, you know, the other way in life? Why do we think life हमेशा ऐसे होनी चाहिए? But what is the success? Not in a life without challenges. The real success, like Kundi Mahani, Draupadi, Devamati, Kardaman, Chavanmuni, Sukanya, and all the Arjuna, Pandavas, all these examples, Mother Sita. All these examples, the real successful life is with all the ups and downs. Krishna is with me. Okay, and that's the beautiful painting that you can come out of your own life. And one day when you go back to Krishna, Krishna will embrace you like Gokumar and say, this is your painting, which you cannot see yourself, but somebody else would be able to see. And then you say, oh my God, that's me. Oh, that's the life I have led. That's what I have gone through to come here. And oh wow, what that पुराने photos देखकर, oh मैं ऐसे दिखती थी. काश मैंने ये थोड़ा अच्छा पहना होता. काश मैंने मेरी साड़ी थोड़ी ठीक की होती. काश मैंने मेरे दांत नहीं दिखाए होते. Right? लगता है ना? ऊपर जाने का तो आपको ऐसे सब लगे. ऊपर means, sorry, sometimes I say this in Mataji's class and some newcomers they misunderstand me and they say, ये Mataji बार-बार ऊपर जाने की बात क्यों कर रहे हो? So Mataji actually wants to get up and they were like, my God, she's so pessimistic in life. And then I have to understand, oh, I'm so sorry, you all don't know. ऊपर जाने का मतलब जो खोलो तो धाम, no, life is more beautiful नीचे से. Right? So if you do not कुंडा बोल दो, जैसे मैं कहती थी, if you do not visibly go there, ऊपर जाओ. किसने बोला यहाँ पर रहने के लिए? आज वहाँ के doors खुल रहे हैं. आओ कर. नीचे नहीं करते, ऊपर जाओ. So that Mataji felt so offended. बार-बार ये Mataji मरने के लिए बोलती है. I said, no, what I mean is, if you don't want a miserable life here, you're most welcome to go there. But it's not that easy to go there. You have to remove those unwanted things of this culture to carve a beautiful deity out of that stone. Right? So when you go there, back there, please sing this song in front of Krishna and say this one. Colors, colors, Krishna's colors. With my life, light and day. Bolo, colors, colors, Krishna's colors. With my life, light and day. Up and down the strokes of life. Krishna's painting on the way. Up and down the strokes make you wait so long. Okay, any quick questions or comments? Which one? Oh, Raghunai.
Yes.
अच्छा तो इसी में नशा
Oh, no, she's thinking.
Okay, let's take one question first. Maybe we can do that. No questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna. First of all, thank you so much, Mataji. Actually, it's my very first time to meet you. You are seriously wonderful. So,
Mike couldn't tolerate the lie.
Hare Krishna. I enjoyed the lecture, Mataji. So I have one question. You stated all the 5 stages, like spiritual and everything. So, in example, in my life, I haven't nice parental background and all. Someone does not have the pre-marital state, who does not have any nice grooming. Who should they make their life post-marital life? Where do they get that property? Give that in the post-marital life.
You're at the right place if you're not. And I think I already answered that question in the course of my talk. Because any lacuna can be compensated by spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada has designed the system. What were hippies? I think we Indians have much better, parental fortune than any of the hippies out there, who kind of just gave up their parents and everything, the society, everything at the age of 16 and got drug addicted. And Prabhupada had the potential to make hippies into happiness. So spiritual life is never hopeless. Never. It's, as it is said, it's never too late. Like that, spiritual life is never hopeless. Anybody from anywhere can start it and pick it up. And the beauty is wherever you start, it's blissful. And how much you can do it is blissful. Imagine what dhams offer us what? कभी-कभी हम धाम जाते हैं, धाम में नींद आती है ना, लेक्चर में जैसे कोई मानव यात्रा से आए, नींद आती है, तो कोई सब याद नहीं आता था, वो पंछी, लोग वैसे सो रहे होते हैं, and then someone wakes you up, oh, I'm sleeping, oh, I'm feeling so bad, I slept in the class, and you have other friends who are going to pep you up and say, don't worry, it's as good as samadhi in the dham. You have the benefit of being in samadhi, so, I mean, you have friends around who can inspire you, encourage you, and kind of, take you out from there. So much of negativity, Don't worry, it's as good as samadhi. You have got so many hundreds of ashwamedha yajnas benefit just by sleeping in the lecture. It's always blissful wherever you started, but whenever, whatever you're doing. So yes, not every, that's why I think I already mentioned, you already answered this question, but I would like to repeat it, that not everybody is blessed with all the fortunes of life. Janma Aishwarya Shrita Shri, not everybody is blessed with with abundance of it, or with the great fortune of it. Those who don't have it, Srila Prabhupada has given us sadhana, which is the chanting of the holy names. Whatever feeds your soul has the power to undo every single impression that you've gone through, not just of this lifetime, but of every single lifetime that you've lived so far. Sadhana has that power. Krishna's names are very powerful. Very, very powerful. They have the power to change Ajahil's life, they have the power to change the fate of Draupadi, they have the power to change the name of, so many other examples, Haridas Thakur and so many others who just chanted once, and then they were transformed into totally. Yamaraj was scared of, Yamadutas were scared of Vishnudutas when he came to take Ajahil. So holy name has a lot of power because Krishna sees the sincerity of reformation. He sees how best you are trying to reform yourself, and that's enough for Krishna. He doesn't see whether you have got A grade, A plus, A plus plus, 99.99993 decimal calculation. No, that's only in PCM. That's not in life. Krishna just sees you have 0.1. You at least began the score, that's more than enough. Right? So those who don't have the blessing of it, don't have the fortune of it, don't worry, nothing has been lost. Just start from where you are. Work upon your soul by taking shelter of sadhana. work upon. But one thing I would like to advise is not just a sentimental understanding, oh, everything is good, spiritual life will make up for it. No, you need to take shelter of chanting. You need to sharpen your intelligence by taking shelter of the scriptures. You read as many scriptures as possible, try to understand them. You need to put yourself into the right sangha so that you are empowered and you are motivated. You are equipped is a perfect word actually. जैसे ऑपरेशन करने के बाद डॉक्टर कैसे ग्लव्स डालता है, मास्क डालता है, सब कुछ स्टेरिलाइज करता है. You equip yourself mentally, intellectually, emotionally by coming into sangha, and you develop right kind of desires, right? So if you make those efforts from your end, then nothing of the past matters. Jagai Matra is a classic example, right? People may still remember, and we may still have the reactions of it, but we are equipped better to face it. Corona, mask lagao, ghumte raho, right? So like that, you are equipped with a mask of spirituality. So don't worry, you're not at loss. Prabhupada has given us a lot of hope. Yes. Any other question?
I just this is the first time I'm carrying class. I did not get a chance to go to the yatra. Your aura is absolutely contagious, and that is what I wanted to ask. That how are you so high spirited? Like you mentioned that there's no dealing partner in life, but you deal with it. In that dealing, I mean, how do I be enthusiastic? How do I be so high spirited? Is what I would.
Yeah, if you had two questions, how am I high spirited? And secondly, you asked how do you become one, right? So first, I am high spirited because I'm thoroughly Rajoguna. I come from a Rajoguna background. In fact, I remember when I was showing my chart at the time of my marriage for the horoscope matching, and one of the devotees, father-in-law, he said, इसके पैर में चक्कर है, घन चक्कर. ये खुद भी घूमेंगे, दूसरों को भी घुमाएंगे. Some things were just born, but of course I am not limited to attribute it to only my material existence. All the spirits come from how well you associate with the divine spirit. We don't keep life limited with only dealings with problems. Our hankerings should be. Rajoguna has two characteristics, which is Trishna and Sangha, which is hankering. Trishna is anything sure. This is another, my favorite to quote amongst Maharajis. Anything that's sure is ecstatic. It's blissful. For example, Krishna. Trishna. Right? So Trishna is what? Akarshan. It attracts. It kind of काम खड़े कर देता है. Right? So if you are in touch with constant divinity, you are in touch with the supreme personality of God, Shadaishwarya Purna, and you are hankering for His association. When you are hankering His tadiya is anything connected to Him, like beginning with His devotees, His books, His name, which is not different than Him, Nama Namina Abhinatva, right? Now Krishna, yeah, Chaitanya Rasa Vidyam, right? So Krishna's name is full of rasa. So if you want to be full of rasa, you have to associate with someone who is already full of rasa. In fact, Krishna is so powerful, so divine, such an absolute personality of Godhead. जैसे मैंने कहा जो हमारे पास होता है वही दे सकते हैं. मैंने कहा अगर हम खुद ही ठंडा गोपाल हैं, you can't issue a post-dated check or multi-million-dollar check, right? It will only bounce back. Krishna is such a Lord. Damodar one just got over like yesterday, day before, right? He's time. But when you take His darshan, when He's time, you can be free. What a God! He can give you in spite of not possessing it at that moment in that particular leela. जो खुद बंधन में बंधा है, but ऐसे व्यक्ति के दर्शन लेने से आप मुक्त हो जाते. कहाँ मिलेगा ऐसा बंधन? क्यों मैं कहता हूँ? That's Krishna, right? So if you are in touch, if you are hankering for Krishna, it's very natural. Rest all follows. Prabhupada used to always say, every material problem has a spiritual solution. This doesn't mean that we don't deal with it materially, but also we understand that I need to have material solutions maybe, but my aspiration should be spiritually rooted. So be in touch with Krishna because he is the source of Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Bhakta Sarvam Pravartate. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vidyam. Krishna is full of those rasas. So if you are in touch with Him, because Did you ever see Krishna stand like this? You're wrong. Then you don't know Krishna Lila enough. Krishna indeed was sad when he had to leave Mathura. Then when he did not get the butter, he was so sad, plotting a plan, devising a plan. How do I get there? I mean, he comes into the room so enthusiastically and he sees the plot there. How are we going to do this today? And then, Eureka! Eureka idea and then very ending. Just, jump up and do it. So even Krishna had to become sad at that, but even his becoming sad, we hear those pastimes when they become blissful. That's God. Right? So don't limit your aspirations to only solving life. Not just dealing with situations. Develop a desire to deal with Krishna. Develop a desire to associate with Krishna. Life dealings, though, that's not right. It's for the message. Right? So if you hanker for Krishna, everything else automatically follows. It's like a child following the mother. Right? And when you look good, there are many fans who follow you. Right? When you have that, वो लड़का जो दिखता है ऐसे. I was telling recently that girls Chikna festival back, not Chikna, I don't remember which one. So लड़के ऐसे लड़कों को देखकर बहुत impress हो जाते हैं ना. And I was telling the girls, how long will those hairs last? जिसको देख के तुम शादी करोगे, एक दिन वो खर्चा हो जाएगा. Right? How long will it last? So look at the person, not just the actions or the hairs, which flow and fly and, जो भी होता है वो extra. Right? So let's be focused and rooted on the essence, not just the water. The water is the essence, water is meant to carry it. Krishna is the essence, life is meant to be led and dealt with, that's the water. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Can we end? Thank you very much. Srila, you have a question? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Wish you all the very best. By the time next I told my cousin, she was asking me next when. I said next marriage. She said क्योंकि marriage के बाद फिर बच्चे, फिर नामकरण, फिर ये बहुत कुछ होता रहता है. But I said I'm not come for all that. 18 cousins के 18 बच्चे and 18 ये. It's too much to come. I have to be here only then. So I decided next marriage. So my cousin was like, oh, someone has to keep getting married. I want to have you here in Hyderabad. So I don't know when I'm going to come next for my next marriage in the family. But then definitely I hope to see you all by there. Married, happily settled housewives and whatever professional lives and contributing and whatever you have heard today, whatever ways you have groomed yourself so far, I would be very happy to see you all giving at some point or the other wherever I visit you next. Okay? Thank you. Very cool. Not bad at the same time. That's right, this was a time slot.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving your wonderful association in spite of your busy schedule. Thank you for your wonderful wisdom talk today. And you described about different things, different portions very nicely. And you described about the foundation, pillars and landscape. The family members are like our foundation and friends are like pillars. And teachers and mentors are like our landscape. Everything you described very wonderfully, Madhuri. Thank you very much for giving your association. And I like one point. In life, there is no delete button. Only we have to deal in life. Everything means we have to deal everything in life. And one more thing, Shastra is for to defend body, and Shastras is to defend our soul. And many things you covered, but I could not get you. Sorry, Mother. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
because I thought my question might be framed up, but then I want to ask the same question. Should I?
One second.